You're on my undivided attention.
Okay. So what I do is I go to my calendar and I look and see when I traveled for the year before. And I make a spreadsheet which I call per diem, where I put down the dates I traveled, the day I left and the day I return. I put down the total number of days it is and the place it is. And I make a list of it. And it's a pretty simple spreadsheet. You can't count a day twice. So, for example, if I went from Abrams Creek to Baltimore, I could put 6.5 and 3.5, but I can't count the same day twice. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the IRS frowns on that.
So you have to choose which was that day.
Right. Or you can look at what time you traveled. Like if you traveled late in the afternoon, then you can put the full day as the other, or you can do half days, whatever you want. Whatever's logical. And so I have this. Can you see it, Dixie? The spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the floor.
Actually, I'm
Okay.
So,
So this is mine for last year. So these are the dates I traveled.
okay.
And these are the locations I traveled. So I take those from my spreadsheet or from my calendar, and then I put the days that I traveled and the number of days I was at the location in here. And then I go to the links I just sent you that have the per diem. This is the internal US one, and you want to make sure you're in the right year.
Yeah.
And just to make it fun, they usually go from October to October, so if you're at the end of the year, you may want to switch. So you can either select state, city, zip here, or you can click on the state here. So for example, if we went to Los Angeles, Dixie, these maximum lodging per month for corporations, you can put that in as your lodging.
Okay.
And we're looking at for people that are not corporations, even LLCs have to use the meals and incidental expenses. So we're looking at this amount. So for Los Angeles, it's $64. So I would go back to my sheet, and for LA, I put $64 in each place. Now, since a lot of times I travel to the same sites over and over again, I will often sort my Excel spreadsheet by by the location. So what did it do? I filtered instead of copied. Custom sort by there's no. So I can put in all the Oaklands, all the Baltimores at the same time. Just saves me time. And then what I do for the final cost, what I can expense, I multiply the number of days by the cost per day and get that. That's the write-off for these. And then I sum it up, and that's my total. Now what I usually do too is I'll go through my receipts and by individual trip. If, for example, my individual receipts were $205, I would choose the higher value. And I would say this was $306, I would keep that, and say this is $199, for example. So the actual expenses, receipts, and this is the per diem allowance. And this is the per day. So by trip, you can choose the amount that's higher. But you can't say, 2 of these 3 days were cheap, I'm going to check the per diem, and 1 day was receipts, I'm going to take the receipts. It's by trip.
Yeah.
And then you add that up, and that's what you can put in your meals and allowance for that business. And if you did other meals locally for business, you can put them in as well. But you can't this is just for the travel.
So this is travel, not food?
This is travel, food, and per diem is food and incidentals. Meals and incidentals.
What does
like tips or something like that.
Okay. Meals and incidentals, not travel then?
This does not count. This does not include hotel. It does not include taxis. It doesn't include anything else. It's just meals, and if you tip the bartender, tip the valet person kind of thing.
Right. Meals.
What year are you looking at for the per diem that's back there? Is that what year, 2016?
This is 2016.
Can you go back to 2015?
Uh-huh.
Los Angeles. I'm just very curious about the hotel.
2015. LA.
Go down to Los Angeles.
There you go.
138. So the prices went down for some reason. The write off.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Okay, that's
So
all.
it used to be
And it
71.
looks like the meals are 71.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
So us as sole proprietors, we can't.
We cannot do, as sole proprietors or LLC, we cannot use the hotel per diem, the maximum lodging.
But we can use.
We can use the meals and incidentals.
Thank you.
But if you have a corporation, an S corp or C corp, they can write off the hotel per diem. Does that make sense? Are there any questions?
That's great.
That seems straightforward. Yeah, it's very straightforward. I was looking at this. This is amazing. You can use this.
Can you look up Washington State 2016? I go to, actually 2017, because I go to Seattle every month. I'm trying to figure out if it's worthwhile to find a local producer or just continue on.
What? Where in Washington's?
Seattle, Washington. So Washington State.
Washington State. The hotel is 205, and the meals are 74
So I could use $74 every day the
for your
meals?
meals. Yeah.
Well, I'm a lap band, so I need like $12 for the food.
I know what you mean. I know what you
That
mean.
is really interesting. Thank you.
Yep. And I included the link to the actual tax document. It's not if you want to look at it. It tells you what's deductible and all that. So
That is very cool. Thanks for sharing that with us.
sure. Any other
Yeah,
questions?
Thank you.
We had talked yesterday about clothing, like about stage clothing and
Uh-huh.
things like that.
Yeah.
You had some take on that was different than my very careful
Deductions.
tax preparers.
Let's see if I can
keep
find it.
arguing with her on this, where she's like, "No, you could wear it possibly," and I'm like,
No, you see, my tax
Business
preparer, she said that it
deductions.
could.
"Yeah,
Yeah, I
Business
I've seen it
expenses.
online.
What can I deduct? Cost of goods sold. Cap. You can't deduct personal living or family expenses. If something is used partially for business and partially for personal use, divide the total cost between the business and personal parts. You can deduct the business part. So if they're using money. If you borrowed money from your home and used 70% of it for business, 30% for family vacation, you can deduct 70% of the interest.
So my dresses typically cost between $150 $200. I've never used them for anything but the stage.
Yeah,
So it's 100%.
That's
yeah. That's what I remember.
Cost enough to live with.
that's for business. Well, you wouldn't wear dresses normally, would you? Like that.
Well,
I wouldn't wear that type of dress, like the red carpet dresses for AVN. Yeah, I'm writing it off. I don't wear it.
That's dry cleaning. That would be specifically to upkeep that dress.
Yeah, and the dry cleaning as well. If it's specifically for
Yeah.
business uniforms.
Okay. Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
Is plastic surgery a tax write-off of that?
If your reason is supported by a contributing medical condition,
But to say, yeah, I've had plastic surgery. That it was to retain my deltoids and trapezoids. It's covering up my spinal cord. Yeah, those if it wasn't covered by insurance, it would have been
You may not deduct for cosmetic surgery. I'm surprised that Hollywood doesn't find a way to do that.
maybe it's required by work.
California.
Yeah.
How to deduct the cost of work.
Yeah. This is just an advice place. It's not the IRS, but ordinary and necessary for business operation, in line with industry standards.
Is the storytelling industry common to have nice clothes?
Yeah.
When you're on stage,
Yes.
yeah, uniforms, clothes, costumes. It's a costume. They're not suitable for everyday wear. You don't wear sequins all the time.
Yeah, you know, I definitely don't wear anything like that material.
A Las Vegas showgirl who was audited for claiming the cost of her costumes.
Yeah, because it makes it, yeah.
That's
Woo,
an
look at
interesting
that.
story.
She came to the audit dressed in one of the costumes, was unable to sit down due to the outfit shape and worn.
Mm-mm.
Professional attire. So business items, if you could wear to other events. I mean, it's probably a judgment call a little bit,
Yeah.
but I mean,
What about your
here's
promotional costs right there?
where is that?
Right there, professional for your, for.
Yeah, that's like
promotional
promotional t-shirts and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that, probably.
Yeah.
I need to read of that. General contractor, online personality,
Wait a minute.
suitable wearing off the.
Video content, you likely invest, can't be claimed, your outfits are suitable to wear off camera as well.
I think it's like if you would ever wear them outside, then you shouldn't do it. But if you never wear them outside, then
Like if you were wearing, say, like specific, like maybe like do this and wear is not something you can wear out.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I didn't buy my leather corset, it cost $550, somebody did, but I'm like, that would be great to put it in my taxes.
yeah, you'd have to have a receipt to prove it too.
I know, but wouldn't it be great to be able to go,
Yeah.
So-
leather corset.
To declare something, I need a receipt, or only when I'm audited, I need a receipt.
I mean, you don't need a receipt when you submit your taxes, but if you got audited,
If you
then
got
you would have
audited.
Right.
A lot of my stuff is
And
something about my
basically,
things.
if I get
So it
audited, I
says
can
with the
contact,
description.
like,